A thick, heavy silence hangs over its pages, a language no one understands, etched in a script unlike any other. For centuries, this enigmatic book has baffled linguists, cryptographers, and historians, stubbornly clinging to its secrets. It is the Voynich Manuscript, widely recognized as the longest, best-known, most tantalizing, most heavily attacked, and most resistant of historical cryptograms. What forbidden knowledge, ancient wisdom, or profound mystery lies hidden within its more than 200 parchment leaves? Discovered amidst a collection of old texts, this volume stands out for its unique and unknown characters, accompanied by a multitude of peculiar illustrations. Unlike richly decorated historical manuscripts, this one possesses an almost unsettling strangeness that immediately captures attention. Scholars have divided its contents into distinct sections, including herbal, botanical, astronomical, astrological, biological, cosmological, pharmaceutical, and a final text-only portion thought to be recipes or an appendix. Yet even these categories are debated, and the very connection between the strange images and the unreadable text remains a fundamental mystery. Before we delve deeper into the centuries of attempts to unravel its enigma, if you're intrigued by hidden truths and suppressed narratives, consider subscribing to our channel. We journey through the cracks in history, digging where others won't to reveal what time tried to bury. The known history of the Voynich Manuscript traces back to the 17th century, drawing us into the court of King Rudolph II, the Holy Roman Emperor from 1576 to 1612. Rudolph II was a man consumed by an insatiable thirst for knowledge, particularly in occult subjects like alchemy. He transformed his Prague castle into a global hub for such studies, sparing no expense to acquire rare books and manuscripts he believed held hidden wisdom. His ultimate goal was to find the Philosopher's Stone, a legendary substance said to transmute lesser metals into gold and grant eternal life. It was this relentless quest that led him to the mysterious manuscript. Rudolph II became convinced that the manuscript was the work of Roger Bacon, the 13th century English Franciscan friar, philosopher, and renowned scholar. Bacon was known to have extensively explored and written about all areas of science, including occult realms. He was also deeply involved with cryptology, even writing about how to conceal scientific knowledge through cryptic methods and anagrams. The belief was that Bacon might have encrypted the true procedure for creating an elixir for prolonging life within its pages. However, even at this early stage, inconsistencies emerged. The manuscript notably includes an illustration of a sunflower. Sunflowers are indigenous to the Americas, and Christopher Columbus only brought their seeds back to Europe in 1493, long after Bacon's time. This seemingly anachronistic detail immediately raises questions about Bacon's authorship or suggests pre-Columbian knowledge of the Americas, a concept far ahead of its time. After Rudolph II, the manuscript passed through several hands. It was connected to Jacobus Horsicki de Tepenec, Rudolph's chief botanist and apothecary, whose signature was later discovered on its first page. Subsequently, it was owned by Georg Barsch, a Bohemian alchemist, who sought help in deciphering it from Athanasius Kircher, a Jesuit scholar and polymath renowned for his vast knowledge across diverse subjects. Kircher, despite his incredible breadth of interest in goal to know all, seems to have made no recorded progress with the manuscript. The manuscript then remained dormant for centuries, its mysteries undisturbed, until its rediscovery in 1912 by Wilfrid Voynich, a rare book dealer. Voynich's acquisition was shrouded in secrecy, as he initially claimed to have found it in a collection belonging to the Dukes of Parma, Ferrara, and Modena, without disclosing the exact location. This secrecy, combined with Voynich's history of dealing with fake documents and even admitting to exchanging dusty rubbish collections for modern trash, later fueled suspicions that he might have fabricated or stolen the manuscript. Years after Voynich's death, a letter from his widow revealed the true origin. The manuscript was purchased from the Vatican, specifically from a former Jesuit college at Frascati, Italy, where it had been kept by the Jesuit general Petrus Bex. This revelation connected the manuscript directly back to Kircher's library, which had been transferred to the Roman College. In the 20th century, the Voynich manuscript became a prominent subject of cryptographic investigation, William Newbold, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania, made a sensational claim in 1919 of a partial decipherment, seemingly confirming Roger Bacon as the author. Newbold declared that Bacon had encoded astonishing scientific discoveries within the manuscript, including knowledge of the microscope and telescope. He even identified one illustration as the Great Nebula of Andromeda, which is not visible to the naked eye, implying Bacon's use of a telescope. Newbold's tedious decipherment process involved closely examining characters, believing them to be composites of smaller, hidden symbols. He speculated that the manuscript held the secret of secrets, the prolongation of life. However, Newbold's findings were later rigorously debunked. His methods were deemed unsound, relying on subjective interpretations of minute details and an optical illusion, rather than a coherent cryptographic key. John Manley, a former supporter, later declared Newbold's claims entirely baseless and should be definitely and absolutely rejected. This highlights a crucial aspect of cryptology. A solution must be verifiable and communicable to other experts. Despite this setback, research continued, often leveraging statistical analysis. William Friedman, a titan in cryptology, and his study groups at the U.S. National Security Agency, NSA, rigorously analyzed the manuscript. Their findings were surprising. The Voynich Manuscript is too redundant for a natural language. Its entropy, a measure of disorder or randomness in a language, is unusually low, lower than English, French, German, or Japanese, making it highly unlikely to be merely enciphered text in a known human language. The only natural language with comparable low entropy cited was Hawaiian. Furthermore, Captain Prescott Currier, an NSA analyst, presented strong evidence of two distinct languages or writing styles within the manuscript, which he labeled Voynich A and Voynich B. He also identified at least 12 distinct hands, suggesting multiple authors or scribes were involved in its creation. This observation undermined theories of a single, mentally ill creator. John Tiltman, another renowned cryptanalyst, noted that the manuscript's text contains stereotyped character groups that function almost exclusively as prefixes, roots, or suffixes, indicating a synthetically structured language. Friedman later concluded that the Voynich manuscript was an early attempt to construct an artificial or universal language of the a priori type, a system that categorizes everything into a rigid, hierarchical structure. These unique statistical properties led to persistent hoax theories. Gordon Rugg, a British researcher, proposed that the manuscript's text could have been generated using a simple mechanical device involving a grill placed over a grid of syllables. By moving the grill, meaningless but statistically consistent text could be rapidly produced. This method could even account for the two distinct languages observed by Currier by using different grids. Rugg suggested that John Dee and Edward Kelly, associates of Rudolph II with an interest in occult languages, could have perpetrated such a hoax, similar to their creation of the angelic language Enochian. This hoax hypothesis gained further technical support from Austrian physicist Andreas Schinner in 2007. However, the enduring mystery continues to invite numerous other proposed solutions, often varying wildly and lacking widespread acceptance. Medieval English, with references to women's ailments and antibiotics. A hitherto unknown medieval North German dialect. Ukrainian with all vowels removed. A highly polyglot form of medieval Flemish connected to the Cathars. A Hebrew plain text referring to a cyclical terrestrial cataclysm brought about by a celestial eye, and even aliens. Pre-Manchu with an origin dating back some centuries BC. Mirrored Middle High German suggesting it's a hygiene manual. A description of a universal energy for spiritual development. Old Dutch describing a voyage to the sun does not shine side of the world. An angelic language, a school book for Nephilim school children from before the Great Flood. Many of these solutions have been quickly dismissed by experts, often because they are difficult to communicate, lack verifiable methods, or contradict the manuscript's unique statistical properties. A pivotal development came in 2011 when carbon-14 dating definitively established that the parchment of the Voynich manuscript dates to between 1404 and 1438. This finding significantly narrows the time frame of its creation and effectively eliminates Roger Bacon, who died in 1292, John Dee, Edward Kelly, Wilfred Voynich, and King Rudolph II as the original authors or hoaxers. While it could still be a later copy of an older work or a meaningless fake intended to deceive a 15th century buyer, the carbon dating reshapes our understanding of its origins. Today, the Voynich Manuscript remains an unsolved enigma, a testament to human curiosity and the persistence of forgotten knowledge. Despite countless efforts by brilliant minds and advanced computing power, its true meaning and purpose elude us. The absence of any concrete solution, combined with the sheer amount of historical and cryptographic data it has generated, solidifies its status as the most mysterious manuscript in the world. What other secrets might our ancient past hold, waiting for someone to ask the right questions and dig deeper? The Voynich Manuscript reminds us that history is not always as clear-cut as it seems, and some of the most profound truths might still be buried, waiting to be unearthed. The challenge remains for future generations to bring new perspectives and multidisciplinary approaches to bear on this persistent mystery. Perhaps one day the Voynich Manuscript will finally yield its secrets, revealing a lost language, a forgotten science, or an untold story that could once again rewrite human history.